I got Georgia as the best team in the country. They're quietly. They're not the pretty lady at the dance, but they at the dance. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody talking about them. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody talking about them. They just come in, they punch you in the mouth, they get at you, they do what they have to do to win. So I got Kirby in Georgia.
On today's Throwdown Thursday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis recap championship week, discuss Coach Prime's move to Colorado, review Dr. Adams' strictly for entertainment purposes only picks, as well as sharing their thoughts on increased player movement in college football. Welcome to today's show.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, and I'm going AEW Originals, the Kenny Omega to my Hangman Adam Page, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, one, I hope you're feeling better, man. How we doing?
I'm a little better. I'm feeling a little better.
All right. So today on Throwdown Thursday, it's about championship week. We're going to talk about Coach Prime in segment 2 in a little detail and some of that player movement. And we're also going to give our initial thoughts on the college football playoffs. So fans, I think we're going to guess right, even though we tape before all of the shenanigans. We do a pretty good job, so let's jump right into it. It's championship weekend and the ACC championship. So Clemson played North Carolina.
Sure. And
Clemson did something that we discussed a few weeks ago on the show. Hey, he finally gave DJ the hook.
2 possessions, Clemson, baby. 2 possessions.
Clemson moves forward. So the quarterback, Cade Klubnik, came in off the bench. Clemson won 39-10. DJ Ugalele, I'm sorry if I pronounced that. He did 2 drives, struggled, went 2 for 5, got the hook. And the question that you have to ask is, if Dabo did this move earlier, would they be in the playoffs, Mike? I'm asking you.
Possibly. You know, I have no love, no love lost for Dabo, but I think if he'd have made that change before, they'd be in a better situation. I understand sticking with his kid, but yeah, I think they kind of hurt themselves, his loyalty.
Well, Dabo said that Klubnik will start in the Orange Bowl December 30th. So is DJ in the transfer portal?
Yeah, he should be today.
He should be today. Okay. All right. All right, we're going to move on to the American. UCF played Tulane. Tulane avenged its only conference loss this season, taking down UCF in the American Athletic Championship 45-28. So Tulane will be in the Cotton Bowl. And good luck to Tulane. And
who do they have? Who does the Cotton Bowl have?
In segment 3, we're going to guess and figure it out. But whoever it is, I won't be betting on Tulane. I'm just going to say that. So whoever it is, got my money over Tulane. Okay.
Take them in the under. Take them minus, whatever it is.
Yeah, them lights get really big, but, you know. All right. Big 12. I want to pause a little bit on this. TCU took on Kansas State. Shout out to Dr. Lisa Rubin. Kansas State gave TCU its first loss, 31-28 in overtime. Shout out to Max Duggan. This dude could have had a Heisman moment.
That's a stud.
And the coach took the ball out of his hands when the game was on the line. Mike talked to me as a football coach. A buddy of mine who's a football guy said the kid had nothing left. No. I said, man, I don't care. I'm going to at least let him try to get us in the end zone, because those 2 runs looked really, really bad. So talk to me.
He might have asked him, can you do it? And that's the thing. I've never minded ask. I'd never mind ask my players. Like, I tell you, man, can you do it? How you feeling? If you're good, if I get a good response, then yes. If I don't get a good response, I gotta figure something else out. But maybe bootleg with a tight end coming around or something. I don't know, but he's a stud. That dude, I would take that dude in a minute.
And we'll talk about him a little more segment 3 as we do our Heisman conversations. So we're going to move on to the Big Ten. All right. Michigan beat Purdue after a lackluster first half. Really didn't look very impressive, but they won their second straight Big Ten title, and they're more likely than not, I think so, going to be the number 2 playoff seed. And their college football is winning its program, and it's the first time they've ever had a 13-win season. Mike, they're 2 wins away from being a national champion for the first time since 1997. Any thoughts on the Wolverines and how they played?
I was watching that pregame and they're talking about the winningest program in college football history. And I'm like, I've been alive for 53 years and I don't, I remember them always talking about them, but I don't see a lot of results. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They might have been winning before 1969 when it was like maybe 50 college teams. I don't know.
All right. And again, segment 3, we'll really dig in deep. This is a brief pause. HBCU. So Jackson State won the SWAC, and they will play for the SWAC championship. Their head coach, Deion Sanders,
let's go
Buffalo. The next coach at Colorado, but Deion will coach in the Heritage Classic. We're going to get into Deion going to Colorado in segment 2, but are you cool with Coach Prime coaching in the national championship?
Moving on.
Okay. I'm cool with that too. Let's wrap up what we started, and we'll have a robust conversation in segment 2, fans. Stay tuned for that. All right, Group of 5, Conference USA. UTSA beat North Texas. This is their second straight title. Keep an eye on UTSA when the bowls come out, folks, and we'll do a deep bowl dive next week when everything is listed. Toledo beat Ohio. They captured their first Mid-American Conference championship since 2017, and they beat Ohio 17-7. Don't look for much for Toledo in a bowl game, but that's just me. Now, the shock of my day was Fresno State going to Boise and beating Boise 28-16 on their own field. And I'm at Dave and Buster's watching the game because KJ had a football outing or whatever. Mm-hmm. And everybody's looking at Georgia LSU, and I'm looking at the small screen of Fresno State, Boise State. I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, Georgia's winning. I'm like, I don't care about that game. I'm sorry about Fresno. All right, Sun Belt. Coastal got smoked by Troy. Look out for Troy in the bowl game. 45-26. Okay, Troy is now 11-2 under first-year coach John Sumrall and a conference champion for the first time since 2017. And I hope nobody takes that guy. Independence, Army, Navy next week. Always love the pageantry. And again, we'll do a full bowl schedule next week when everything shakes out and we see where everybody goes. Pac-12 championship. Now, Friday, Mike, last week, I posted the top 5 as I usually do. Mm-hmm. And in parentheses, I put USC, you better not lose to Utah or it's over. And sure enough, the Utes scored 24 straight points at one point and dominated USC 47-24. Now, they keep telling me Caleb was hurt. Mm-hmm. So if Caleb hurt, why ain't you playing the backup?
It's a good question, but he is hurt. His knee, he can't step through.
Yeah, I thought it was a hamstring or something.
Yeah,
but we're trying to win a game, and we ain't got time for all that. So put the backup in and keep it moving.
You can't. You can't.
You want to win, man.
But you can't step through.
You tell me it's about winning.
Yeah, it's about winning. Oh, you
can't play.
You ain't got.
He cannot play. He cannot move.
My only relationship is with winning.
So
I don't just. I'm sorry.
I just,
whatever.
And I'm conservative with injuries, and I'll protect you as Fowler laughs. Says, "Man, Coach won't let you. Don't tell him you're hurt, because he's gonna protect you."
Oh yeah.
So anyway, well, congratulations to Utah. Thank you for finally playing after you didn't hit my number. And USC, you're out of there. Hey, remember, I had Utah at the beginning of the season, gonna be a 10-win team, blah, nothing. It's choking dogs. So anyway, congratulations. I think that's their second straight Pac-12 title championship.
All right, and that and the pack of now laters,
Save some for now and later. And finally, people don't even realize that was on the package of now laters. It says in small print, save some for now and later.
Yeah.
Okay. Random trivia for 50-year-olds. Okay. And in the SEC championship, Georgia just beat them like they stole something against LSU, 50-30. I took the under, and the under was 51.5. I thought I was going to see some defense, and Georgia hung 50 by themselves. So the Dogs are 13-0. Stetson Bennett has a chance to be a two-time national champion. And in segment 3, we're going to ask if he should be a part of the Heisman conversation. But Mike, any thoughts about Georgia before we move on to segment 2?
Quietly, they're the team to me. I got Georgia as the best team in the country. Then quietly, they're not the pretty lady at the dance, but they at the dance. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody talking about them. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody talking about them. They just come in, they punch you in the mouth, they get at you, they do what they have to do to win. So I got Kirby in Georgia.
That was the most impressive win I saw of championship weekend.
Hello.
Because it was not even, you didn't even have the hint of you can play with us. You didn't even have the hint of no. And as a coach, a lot of times I wanted to have the first play of the game in basketball be a dunk attempt. Whether we got it or not, I didn't care, but I wanted you to see our power. And more teams than you would believe would look and see that guy coming through, and that lane would open up for the rest of it. We had
it's funny. I'm a screenshot and send you the text message. One of my former, Kevin Hammock, we had on the show.
Yes, we had.
He's at a new school, 1A. He's at a 1A school. They're pretty good. They're playing a 5A. So he called me. He's like, Coach, can you draw up that tip play we used to run? Because they got a big kid too, and he always wins the tip. He's like, we want to throw a lob on the first play to show him, like we used to. I was like, the first play of every game, we ran lob.
I'm throwing it
off the tip. We ran a lob off the tip.
All right. So with that, fans, we'll be back to talk about Coach Prime at Colorado, and we're going to talk about it on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 2, we're going to talk about some coach and player moves. And I've been waiting all week to talk about this since the news broke that this was probably what's going to happen. So Deion Sanders will be the next coach at Colorado. And that instantly makes him one of the most compelling hires in college football, because if you listen to the commentators, they say he only has 3 years of head coaching experience. So this has been a revolving, kind of thing for me. And Mike's going to have an opportunity. So Deion, with his resume, wanted to go FBS, wanted to go as high as he could, and they said no because you don't have experience. Meanwhile, Jeff Saturday rolls out of bed and gets the Indianapolis coach job. But that's another story. So Deion goes to Jackson State, and Deion, in my opinion, this is me, and Mike can respond, says, I'm not just going to be here, just to coach and whatever, but I'm going to try to do something that hasn't been done on this scale. And he put in his time, he put in his money, put in his resources. He did the best that he could. And I had no problem with his effort. And hey, they actually won. They improved facilities, they improved live, they improved the energy. They just got people to talk. And I'm a broken record when I say athletics is the front porch of your school. So how many more people applied to Jackson State or even, donated or something? Okay. So he's going to go out and attempt to win the, Black National Championship. And I think this year he will, because it doesn't appear that his players are mad. Now, the peanut gallery is going nuts, and I'm going to, give you that opportunity before I go on my diatribe. But Mike, what are your thoughts on Deion Sanders being the next head coach at Colorado?
I want to say congratulations to him. And I say poo-poo to all those folks who are complaining and running their mouth and speaking about things they have no clue over. And to the NCAA personnel who tried to ruin him and tried to say, oh, we didn't want him because of what happened at Prime Prep. We didn't want him because of this, or we didn't want him because of that. It's because they were afraid of his personality. So it needs someone who can just step back and let him do his thing. I think at Colorado, they're going to let him be prime, so to speak, and it's funny how we can't get jobs about something that happened. Now, that thing that happened at Prime Prep had nothing to do with him anyway. It was the business people who was running it. Of course, his name was there and he was coaching, but it wasn't his fault. But you got guys who wrecked their motorcycle with their side piece on the back, and they still get head coach jobs. You got guys who've been in car accidents who was, with 3 or 4 DUIs who still got jobs. You got a guy who closed a restaurant down and had sex on the dinner table with his side piece, and he still got jobs. And I'm talking blue blood jobs, Kentucky.
Oh, yes.
Like, those guys can make mistakes and get any job they want still. But then you find the smallest little thing that's really out of his control. He has the highest graduation rate in HBCUs, right? But all the good things that they want us to do are still used against him because he doesn't fit the prototype. They need a Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin can come in and bullshit everybody. I love his attitude, but he can bullshit everybody, lie to everybody, say what he wants to everybody. This man has been the head coach at USC, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and
Raiders.
Oakland Raiders, like all the stuff that he's gone through, and it's fine. But you want to use this one thing against Deion, I don't like it. But it just goes back. We still live in America. So can't say much. We still are in America. There's so many people who are afraid of Black people with power and it's perceived power, whatever it may be, at what level. I'm sure you work with people I do to this day, that if you go in their classroom and say something and they look at you like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? I don't appreciate it. Like they just can't deal with working with Black people with power.
Well, Mike, every week I do a weekly note for my staff. I do student support, and I always try to find a quote of the week that kind of simplifies how I'm feeling. I do the quote of the week for me. And, these are the things I'm thinking. And as a leader, you want to be open. And the quote of the week this week, on purpose for Deion, is from Bette Midler, believe it or not. And Bette Midler said, the worst part of success is trying to find somebody who is happy for you. The worst part of success is trying to find somebody who's happy for you. So, Coach Prime, I'm happy for you. because you did what other people couldn't do. And I really am upset about a lot of some people said, you know, you not only going to Colorado, but taking all the players with you, says the opposite of what you were, trying to say about HBCUs.
No,
You took the money. Well, one, he's
he
not
was
hungry.
donating his money.
He's not hungry, but hey, if you want to offer me this opportunity, and that's something he said in his Instagram post, uh, you and I have both left positions to
Right,
go to a better position. The
right.
most fun I have ever had as a coach, the most fun, and I always say the most fun, was my 2 years coaching at Wooten High School, because it was just about coaching and fun. There was no academic issues. We they had won 24 games the previous 6 years, and then we made it to the regional semis. We had a good time. I'm still talking to many of those players today,
Then you
but
got
2 years
fired.
later, an opportunity to coach Fowler and Campbell came up. Well, look, man, I'm leaving. And some people were upset saying, why can't you stay and keep growing? And nah, man, I'm out.
Yeah,
So I enjoyed my time. We did the best we could. We did some
yeah,
good things.
yeah. It's just not meant to
Time to
be.
go. So again, congratulations.
There's so
I
many.
did go ahead, buddy.
There's so many people who probably still look at you the way you did and don't understand it's more than that. It's just not. People got to stop trying to put what they need on coaches and stuff like that. Like we make decisions. I still get decisions. Why'd you leave Ole Mill? Well, you had that thing rolling. Why'd you leave? Why would you go back to me? And then half the people
Because
at
I
Ole
wanted
Mill,
to.
yeah, and then half the people at Ole Mill, like, why would you leave to go back there? Like saying that you're talking about me because I'm one of the people from there. You know what I'm saying? So like you're talking to me less than about the school being less than. So you were trying to make me feel less than. Does that make sense?
100%.
It's not, I'm glad you did leave. And if the opportunity comes now, somebody was talking about it. They were talking about on Facebook, and I said, I ask anybody on this thread, whatever you making right now, would you do the same job for $4 million?
Well, heck, man, not even $4 million, but one poster said all of y'all Bamas would leave your job now if somebody offered you $10 more an hour. So I don't want to hear nothing. And I'm going to move on to Jake's
He
take.
said $10.
So Jake, our good friend and our OCP correspondent, spent a lot of time in Colorado. That's the beauty of this show.
Colorado.
And I said, Jake, because he wrote for him. All right. I said, Jake, what do you think on Deion going to Colorado? And Jake said, interesting fit. I always thought Colorado underachieved, but they did have success in the past. They did. The facilities aren't great, but it's beautiful there. And I have been to Colorado. I don't know if you've had the pleasure, but Colorado is the only place I've ever been to, Mike, where Martin Luther King Boulevard Street or whatever, they had $1 million homes. And I'm at a conference,
They're
and
usually
I'm
in the hood.
I'm on like a bus or something, trying to get to the conference or whatever we were doing, traveling. And I looked at the street and said, "Excuse me, man, is this Martin Luther King?" And the driver and the people were like, "Yeah," because I'm from Colorado. And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. Is it Martin Luther King?" They're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've got a tear in my eye because this is like beautiful.
This is what he envisioned.
This is beautiful. But Jake said the right guy could sell it, and maybe Coach Prime is the right guy. So
right. I mean, we get those jobs. Unfortunately, those are jobs we get. We get all the jobs when they 0 for 800. We get all the jobs when they at their worst. And unfortunately, sometimes, depending on who the people are, as soon as it starts to change, that's when they get rid of us, i.e., Mark Jackson. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what happens.
Well, talking about the actual Colorado job, Pac-12 is the conference I would want to go to because you got USC, UCLA leaving. They're leaving. So now, who do you have to beat? You got to beat Oregon. Okay.
All right,
that's a
good.
challenge, whatever. Oregon State, okay, I'll take on them. Cal, no bother. Arizona State. Where am I nervous?
No
There's
problem.
nothing that's causing Washington State. So the two dogs are leaving. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm in. I'm in, and I think I
I'm
can compete.
gone. I'm
I can.
gone. What do you
So,
mean? When can I get there?
yeah. So, all right, let's flip it to the players. The transfer portal is
It's about to get hot
available
now. It's about to get hot.
starting, I believe, this coming week, and it will stay open until January 18th. So I think the portal opens by the time the show airs, and it stays open until January 18th. Now, we're not going to go through everybody, but there's a couple of names that came up. Drew Pine, the Notre Dame quarterback, tweeted this past week that he's entering the transfer portal. He's going to have 3 years of eligibility, and he's not planning to play in the team's bowl game.
Where he from?
I don't know where he's from, but he's the quarterback that he wasn't supposed to be the quarterback. Jake said he wasn't going to start next year. Again, love Jake. And he was originally the backup because Tyler Birchner got hurt.
Okay.
So he's just going to leave early and not play in the bowl game. So any thoughts on him just saying, look, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I mean.
All right. Joey Porter Jr. Penn State cornerback Joey Porter Jr. has declared for the draft, capping a 4-year, with the program. He's the son of linebacker Joey Porter, and he's a projected first-round pick, and he's not playing in the bowl. Any thoughts, any problems?
No, because most of these coaches, nowadays, they have to accept that. You have to accept kids are going to do that. And not only that, it helps you with recruiting. We can look at it the one way. Oh, my God. We can look at it the one way, and you can get upset, and then other players are going to come through and say, well, I ain't going there because if I have the opportunity, he's going to deny me that opportunity, so I'll go to another school.
Yeah, and I'm good with it too. Hey, no problem. Enjoy. Kalisha Cansey, I hope I pronounced that right.
What?
He is the Pittsburgh defensive tackle, and he's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and he's skipping the bowl game. He's a junior. He talked about some health issues on an Instagram post. But again, I'm not rehabbing for a bowl game. I'm rehabbing for possibly something else.
Yeah, but when you say health issues, that scared me. I thought maybe he was really ill or something. You
know
what I mean?
His quote says, thanks to the best trainers in the country at Pitt, I know they will help me get back to 100%. So he's not going to push any rehab to play in a bowl game. He's going to push the rehab to maybe possibly declare ACC Defensive Player of the Year. I think you might be draftable. I think that's a safe assumption. Don't know which round, but
third round at the worst, right? Third round.
All right, and the last player, Mason Cobb. Mason Cobb is Oklahoma State's leading tackler, and he announced that he is entering the transfer portal. He's a 6-foot junior from Utah who has 2 years of eligibility left. He led all Oklahoma State players this season with 96 tackles, including a team-high 13 tackles for loss. He posted 11 quarterback hurries, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and a forced fumble. Would that give you pause about Oklahoma State when a guy like that with those credentials on your team enters the portal? Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
Something going on. Something definitely is going on. It's got to be. I mean, it's like to make a guy like that want to leave a team leader. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Okay. All right. So with that, fans, when we get back in segment 3, we're going to have that debate that's been going on, and we hope we guess right in terms of the CFP and the playoffs on the Odd Coaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, segment 3. The time is now. College football playoffs. OCP tapes before the fancy show, but I think we're going to get this right. Okay. So we got Georgia's 1. Mike, any argument with that?
No.
All right. We got Michigan at 2. Any argument at that?
No.
All right. We might start fighting now because I still got TCU as 3 because I'm not going to punish them for playing an extra game. So in theory, they beat the number 10 team in the country earlier in the season because they split with Kansas State, and none of these other teams behind them were playing in anything. And how they lost resonated with me. So I still got them as number 3. That's me. Who do you have as number 3, sir?
Ohio State.
Okay. And I've got no problem because I got Ohio State at 4. So who do you have as 4?
Alabama.
Ouch. Now, I'm not mad that you have Alabama at 4 because Nick Saban made a compelling argument. Okay. He said, it's supposed to be the 4 best teams in the country. So my partner says all the time, 4 best teams. And if you put us against any of these teams, are we going to be the underdog? And the answer is no. So as a result of that, we should be in because the 2 teams we lost to, we lost on the last play. And stop telling me about Texas.
Yeah,
we
they lost on the last play. They play in the toughest conference in football. In their division alone, they had to play. They played like 3 games on the road to teams that were top 10, top 20. You know what I mean? Nationally ranked. And I don't understand how they had their strength of schedule as 41st.
Because they don't play nobody. Because
what you mean they don't play nobody?
Mississippi died at the end of the year. They
but
played
if these
that focus game against.
But they played 3 teams that was ranked in one conference.
Yeah.
In one other conference in football, they got 3 teams ranked in the top 10.
I cannot, but there's no way. I'm going to say it now and get laughed at. There's no way they put them in. Okay. I think TCU is going to be 3 and Ohio State's going to be 4 and Alabama's going to go to the Sugar Bowl. So that's it. But I digress. Okay. So I did find out that the committee doesn't care about rematches because my thought about Ohio State being 3rd is that they would play Michigan again in a neutral site. And upon further research, they said the committee doesn't care about that. I was like, okay.
Not publicly.
So
financially, yeah, maybe.
So we're looking at Georgia, Ohio State, if this is what happens. And I think that's unfair to Georgia because they have to play Ohio State, who's good, and Michigan would have to play TCU. So any final thoughts before we move on to the rest of the silliness in terms of the college football playoffs? Because Jets fans, we tape early. We're not going to change our taping for this mess.
No. Not at all.
Because we'll go into great detail next week. Okay. Once it's official. All right. So my picks for the regular season are over. I take a pause and then I pick bowl games. So for the regular season, I was 45% and I lost on average 1287, and to quote my beautiful wife, so that's about 12 pack of beer or something like that. That sounds about right. You cut down on your drinking. So
about 6-pack nowadays, buddy.
Yeah, so it probably is a 6-pack of good ones.
Yeah,
because you could get Stone Cold beer, the Buds, the Millers, the whatever for like 7 or 8.
Coors Light, like $9, buddy.
Okay. All right. So Saturday, December 10th, Army, Navy, take the under. I don't care. Take the under. The under has hit like 15 years in a row. Okay, so I don't even know what it is. Take the under and leave the point spread alone. Just take the under. All right, Mike, we're going to talk about the Heisman Watch. So the Heisman ceremony is Saturday, December 10th. I've got 4 guys on my list And feel free to add anybody else that you want. I got Caleb Williams. I got Max Duggan from TCU. I got CJ Stroud and Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett. That's my final four. Anybody that I left out? I know I left out the Michigan running back.
He had surgery. He done.
Yeah. So is there anybody you're predicting for the Heisman? Because next time
I would have predicted Dugan after that performance. Jesus Christ.
He will be in New York City, baby. Look
Good
at him.
God. That was good.
The local folks are rooting for Caleb, and that's all I heard about it. Dave and Buster's. Hey,
but he's hurting though. He's hurting.
And what an underwhelming Heisman year, though.
Yes,
I got to say that.
Extremely.
So I don't know who's going to win. I'm not going to make a prediction on this one because there's no real dominant player. And good luck to everybody, and enjoy the shrimp and the food in New York City.
So,
all right.
Stetson and Stroud will probably be like for us. That's the way I look at it. To the victor go the spoils, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Stetson Bennett's got a chance to be a 2-time national champion. Yeah, give him a lifetime achievement award. Whatever. Okay. So major bowl watch. We're looking at penciling in, and we're not doing all of the bowls, but the major ones. Rose Bowl looks like Penn State, Utah. That's what it looks like. And I'll take that matchup. The Cotton Bowl looks like USC versus Tulane. That's what it looks like. Don't play that game. The Sugar Bowl looks like Alabama versus Kansas State. Man, Alabama will be so bored playing Kansas State.
Man, they'll run down their throat and they'll play games with them.
Say, see, you're the sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And the Orange Bowl, and I think we called this a couple of weeks ago, Clemson versus Tennessee. A lot of orange. And who's quarterbacking for Tennessee now that Hendon Hooker is?
I don't know the guy, but they won the week after, though. They look good.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay. Yeah. We'll bet on it. I'll put my money on it. All right, Mike, we're going to wrap up. Anything for the good of the order, because next week is all about the bowls.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll let that happen next week. But
let's see where Maryland's going to go. I need to find out.
Yeah. They're talking about the Guaranteed Rate Bowl against Oklahoma. Let's see if the pundits are correct.
And where's that at?
I don't know. I'd like to see him play an ACC school. I'd like to see him go to
that would be good.
Mayo Bowl and play like Duke.
But I want him to go to Orlando. That's all I want him to do.
Yeah, I want them to play Duke, man.
If they go to Orlando, it's a shot I can go. You see what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
because you got a place to stay. All right. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.